shaft with a steel tip that it's rounded off for safety. I'm going to pass that around and have a look at that. Spears are really good when you're in a shield wall situation, coming up over the top of the shields. As you can see, the shields are quite size. And you'll find after a while they get quite heavy. I mean, this one's not too bad, but one of the other ones I've got is an absolute nightmare. You've got really good protection. And obviously the spear can come over the top. So that's your rather large Saxon style shield.
Our shields are a little bigger than generally used. We, as a group, we decided to go with slightly bigger because it gives us more protection. Those are about just over 1 metre across, I think, 36 inches. Something like that. So they are pretty big. I mean, they're huge on me as well. So I can hide behind the whole thing. But generally, they can be a few inches shorter as well, or less, a few inches less across the diameter. Some have them quite small and some kind of this size in the bike, which you can see the difference between that one and this one with protection-wise. There's a difference. There's a lot more of you to get around, a lot easier to get around the sides as well.
Another weapon that's quite predominant with the Saxons is the axe. We need to be a bit careful with this one at the moment because it's a little bit wobbly. I need to get that tightened up. But again, completely safe. No sharp edges or anything on these. You still wouldn't want to get caught around the head with them though, they're quite weighty. So have a look at those. Steel swords. Obviously you've got the medieval style, and this one is it's a gladius style. It's like a Roman short sword. There would have still been a few of these kicking around, but it's not a standard Viking sword or anything. This one. What I was saying to you the other day about safety and nicks, I've intentionally bought these today because they've got the little nicks in them where the other blades have contacted. I did forget to bring my file today, but they should be filed down after every clash, because otherwise if that's run across your skin, it can tear. Alright, but again, rounded tip, but still weighty.
Chris, my neighbour, Austin, is a metal worker. He works in metal.
Oh, right.
So I don't know if you want me to ask him if he could do a few more spearheads.
Yeah.
Could be a cheap way of getting
That would be quite fantastic.
I
I mean, I'm leaving my spear here, so if you wanted to take it as an example, you'd be more than welcome. The reason I've brought everything up is because if I come up by bike, obviously all the kit's already here. Yeah. Spear, anything you do that doesn't involve a choreography, we would call the basic sort of 8, sometimes 9 moves and blocks.
Yeah, it depends on what you're looking at. In the Vikings, we work on an 8s system, which is start with the head, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is the chest. When I did medieval, we worked on 5, so we just discounted these 2. But apparently in films, they work on a 9 system as well, a French-based system that a lot of Hollywood apparently stick to. Don't know a great deal about it, I've just been researching a little bit about it, but apparently it's quite a good system that they look at, and it's very similar to what we use. To be honest, the moves, the defences, particularly the swords, are all the same. The 9th one they add in is the groin. It's fun, and if we can get that in this one, that should be quite good, because groin shots were shots are quite a common thing in shield walls, because you've got your shield like this. People are going over the top a lot of the time. What people used to do with a smaller weapon. This is called a sax, S-E-A-X. It just means knife. This is a broken back sax because of the shape of the blade. It's straight at the bottom, and then it's got this like broken angle at the top. You'd be in the shield wall, something like this. Come in under. The trust I had.
Yeah.
It's quite nasty, but this is an excellent little weapon for that. They use that a lot in these things.
What I'll probably do in a minute, I'll go through each weapon with a few things, but to start with, we're just going to do basic moves and that at the moment, just to gauge what people are like and sort of ease you in gently. But what I'll probably get you doing later on is aiming for points on the shield. So you'll go for the 8 points, literally, just like that, just to get used to the weapon, where these points are. But yeah, before we start going for kill shots and things like that.
It's about this one's about accuracy. If you can do it, it's accuracy and stamina. Because you're coming out with the arm, you're punching outwards, so it's out like that. So you're getting a much more safe shot. You can fight with the spear like this, and a lot of us do, but you wouldn't do that in a shield wall. You'd be more fighting somebody. You can do this kind of Spartan style, which kind of looks cool, doesn't it? Really, but it's not so good like that because we've got to keep the spears pointing down. The last thing you want is to go into somebody and do this.
When we're doing choreographies, that can change because people are then expecting certain moves.
Yeah.
But just for standard sort of pacing.
For practicing at the moment, we'll keep it always pointed downwards. Swords are different, but with spears, just make sure it's always coming at a downward angle until you can learn. And you can practice this at home because all you need is a broom handle. Anything like that, that's all this is, literally. It's just a broom handle with a spear point stuck on the end. And that's all you need. You don't even have to take the broom off the other end, just turn it around. Seriously, I used to. Before I had a spear, when I first started, I used to practice with the broom the other way around. And it just builds up the muscle power and the muscle memory because it's really knackering holding it like this, plus the shield as well, and then trying to do the 8s. But it does build up your muscle power and the muscle memory, and it does make it a lot easier in time. So those that are doing a fair bit of fighting, it's worth doing because the stronger you are, the safer you'll be. When your muscles go, they will go very jelly-like, and you'll start not being able to be accurate anymore, and that's when the safety starts flying out the window. I mean, like Chris said, with this sort of thing compared to what we do generally, the difference is, one, we're trying to score kills for a start. We're trying to beat our opponent. In this film, that will already be decided. So you won't be trying to beat your opponent as such, you'll be sticking to a set pattern more than anything. But also we will be going for some more dangerous shots, you know, because you're going to want to be doing it because it's going to have to be more real. So we are going to have to, so we had a chat about this, but we're hoping that some are going to be kind of naturals at this and are going to come out being quite good. And those sort of people, the ones that we're going to want to be using for going for the slightly more dangerous shots. So we'll see how people go on that.
At the end of the day, the more you practice this and the better you get at the basic side of it, the more likelihood there is that you'll be given some really nice fight moves and everything when it comes to filming. Because there are some great choreographies we can do if people are up to it.
Yeah.
But with the spear, also it can be used as a defensive weapon as well to block. You haven't got to rely on the shield. You can block with that. And in the same way, you can also use the shield as a weapon as well. Coming in. We won't get you doing that. Down at the legs. There's all sorts of different things you can do. I think that wraps it up for a moment on the spear. I don't want to go too much depth.
Sword would be better because we've got Saxons.
Same sort of principle with the sword. Your instinct with the sword will be thrust. That's not something we're going to be doing yet. We may incorporate something like that on the choreography, where we'll come in at the sides, depending on where the camera is and things like that. But for now, just concentrate on coming in around the edges of the shield. And if you do a thrust, do it with a collapsible wrist. But like I say, we won't bother about that too much. Again, the sword can be used for blocking.
Overhead.
Upwards like that. Or if it's coming in for a shoulder, across like that. Wasn't expecting that one. Or you can drop it like that and block the leg.
I'm in danger zone.
Yeah, you are, Hayley. You should
we'll go through
come
this
round.
in a lot more detail.
At that speed, it won't hurt.
Oh, I know.
Again, with the sword, initially, always make sure you're coming in a chopping motion downwards. It just keeps it safer. It also builds that muscle memory. It really, you'll feel it in your forearm quite a lot. But stick to the downward thrust at the or downward chopping motions at the moment, including the low ones. Just come in that chopping, and in time, when we get onto the more choreography, we might come under and do some thrust and stuff. And there is one that I saw the other day with a stick and slap and stick, isn't it? Where you're coming in to somebody with the camera off to the side, come in, so you slap them, and then push it through slightly. And that's how they get the old pushing through somebody's body motion. Yeah, it's just a trick of the camera angle.
Not running full pelt down a hill, Ed.
There's a lot of things I want to talk about regarding safety as well. When you're in a situation like this where you're fighting, if Dave is coming at me in an aggressive way and forcing me to step backwards, one of the most important things to remember is that Dave is my eyes. I can't see what's behind me. So if you get in a situation, if you want to drive towards me a minute, if there's an obstacle behind me, what are you going to do?
Stop.
And
Just say stop and just nudge and
or step back.
yeah.
Because
Come
if,
back, stop
if
attacking.
he suddenly steps back, I'm then going to go forward rather than backwards because I've gained some ground.
Yeah.
I'm then away from whatever obstacle was behind me.
Usually a body.
Yeah, or something like that. So be very aware when you're fighting that you are your opponent's eyes when they're going backwards. The other thing to remember as well is this isn't competitive, it's to make the fight look fantastic. And the best way we can achieve that is if you try and make your opponent look good. One of the most important things is to react to blows and things like that. So if somebody's coming in with a really heavy blow, stagger back, you know, look shocked or whatever. If you
Telegraph blow. What we call telegraph the blow, which is literally swing wild. I won't go through that in a minute, but just come in.
you know, react to it, go back.
Top of the shield.
If you get injured or killed, you know, make a big thing. This is your chance to act. You know, really go for it. Because it'll only look convincing if your opponent does react to everything. And that's the thing. If we go by the principle that we're trying to make our opponent look good, then we'll all look fantastic and it'll work. Axis.
Yeah.
Same principle as a sword. Same moves. Obviously, when it comes to the film, we won't be aiming for the shield, we'll be doing choreographed moves. So, the added bonus of this little beauty, which the Saxons are going to have, is it can be used to hook the shields back as well. So, you know, once you've done that, If you haven't got a big shield in your hand and you've got a dagger or something like that, you can immediately come in. You can use the shield as a weapon. You can kick them. You can do whatever you want. But handy little thing.
If you're in a shield wall, the way it works is that the person to the left of you is actually your defence. So they're generally with a spear, ideally, which is why the spears are so good. But shields are interlocked like this. This is what made the shield wall so strong back in those times. And what you're ideally aiming to do is hook the shield open so that the person opposite, obviously next to you on the other side, with a spear would then come in with a spear at the exposed belly or chest. So that's what you do. So that's why these things are quite handy. Just hook the shield open, expose somebody, quick stab with a sword or a spear, and that's one opponent gone, a hole in the shield wall. The idea being with a shield wall is to break the wall. The first one that breaks the shield wall will be the winner, every time. That's why the Saxons lost Hastings, because they broke their shield wall. They were doing well up until then.
They charged down after the Normans, and that was it.
Yeah, they fell for the feint.
This is why the spear is such a great weapon for shield wall fighting, because you can keep your opponent right back. Because it's a long weapon.
I mean, we're going to go through Laura about what we're doing with the battles. We're having a
Yeah.
chat on the way up about that. I mean, I expect Camlan is the only one who are going to have a shield wall.
Yes, it is.
Because Druid Beach and
No,
Isca,
no.
you're not going to have a shield wall.
No, you're
back,
not.
There's just straight attacks.
Yeah, it is.
So Camlan is the only shield wall we're going to have. So we won't go overboard on the shield wall. It's more of a short thing. We'll do
Yeah.
it, and then it'll break because,
Yeah.
I mean, the back of Arthur, he would have broken anyway.
Yeah.
And then we'll get on to the one-on-one fighting.
And with the big battles as well, you might find, especially when we start doing the choreograph stuff, that you'll actually lose your shield at some point. So we might also be covering two weapons, which should be fun.
Yeah. Again, probably for the ones that do better,
Yeah.
because two-weapon fighting could be a bit weird. as well.
It is hard to pick up. I'm
Yeah.
a different category. I'm a decent fighter on my own right, and I still have issues doing two-hander.
And of course unarmed combat as well.
Yeah.
Once you've lost your shield, you've got a hand for it. Be it to punch, be it to pretend to pull somebody's hair or whatever, you know, grab them, barge them, whatever. This will get dirtier as the battle goes on. Yeah, it's a lot of scope.
And I know we've got some decent cast members who can fight.
Oh yeah. But everyone's going to be on a vertical learning curve here, which is brilliant as well.
One of the most important things at this stage, because none of you have done this before, I want to make sure that you're safe. So we've got helmets here, which you can wear. So I'm thinking we'll do it a pair at a time, rather than try and have too many things going on. And gloves. If anyone's got any gloves, be it bike gloves, gardening gloves, whatever, it might be an idea for a little while just to wear them. Because if you get a sword hit round the knuckles, it does bloody hell. Although it shouldn't happen in the early stages.
It does. It
Get
does.
a few misses. And
So any kind of gloves, if you want to bring them along so you've got them.
I'll hunt around for a load as well in town, see what I can bring up.
I meant to put my gauntlets in and I forgot, but I've got I've got leather tools.
yeah, well, that's all really These hockey gloves.
Yeah.
The gardening gloves over the top. It's all right. They're ideal because they've got padding on top. So they just prevent a little bit of damage. It's still going to hurt, but it just prevents a little bit of damage if you get hit.
But this is another reason I said about wearing costume and that today as well, because when you've got things like this, sometimes when you're fighting, you can tread on it, you can do all manner of things, and you've got to be aware of getting used to fighting in what you're wearing as well.
Anyone that's ever done cosplay, you've gone through a convention, not necessarily what you were wearing, but if you walk downstairs behind someone who's wearing something like that,
Splat.
I think I'm not with reenactment groups. I honestly don't know the basics.
It's the same thing. The other thing is
everything's fine.
you want to go, be aware of space.
Yes.
A lot of the weapons you're using are about this size, particularly those over there. I think a lot of them are going to be similar in size. A couple of them might be a bit bigger, but be aware of space, particularly when the shield wall breaks and we're down to single combat or 2-on-1 or whatever we're doing. Be aware of swinging swords wildly like this.
Especially when your mate stood there.
Yeah. The last thing you want is one of these in your face. I've got a scar here for one I took to the face a few years ago, well, about 10 years ago now, and I ended up in Cardiff Hospital in full kit. For everyone that was there, but it wouldn't stop bleeding. Face is a nightmare. If you've ever cut your face, it doesn't stop bleeding. But just be really wary, and it's one thing we are going to be looking at quite closely, because everyone's got other stuff that they do, and it's something that's put on in all reenactments, is that we've all got day jobs, we've all got other things we need to do. Last thing we need is one of these in the face, and you've got 3 weeks off work or whatever. So just be really careful, you know, when you're fighting. This is why I say stick to the downward blows at the moment, because it's one area in front of you and just to the side. Whereas if you start doing things like this, which we will come on to, but we'll make sure we've got the space to do it, because these sorts of blows are just brilliant on film.
It will look brilliant for Mordred versus Arthur.
Yeah, you want the big blows because it just looks good. You know, and small blows like this are alright, but it's boring. You know, people want to see. I
mean, this is your chance. This is your chance to really act as well. I mean, don't be worrying about the sword so much that you just kind of really get into it. In terms of hitting, if you're attacking your opponent or attacking expecting them to block, one of the most important things is how hard do you hit, right? The idea is to make very little contact, but to make it look like you're making a lot. So if I was going to come in and I'd put a lot of force behind it and go, hurrah! Onto Dave, I was expecting him to block nobody. You would come down quite quick, but then stop the blade just before contact. Takes a bit of getting used to. Again, something else you might want to practice at home or something.
Anyone who's ever used lark weaponry, I mean, you get told to do something called torn your blow. Exactly the same thing.
The other thing I was going to say is...
look brilliant and... sorry, Chris.
It's alright, Chris.
Carry on, mate.
You can do it so that you stop just before them, but still make contact. And what I tend to do, a little tip that I learned years ago, is to come in, stop just before you contact, and then do the rest of the movement with the wrist. So there's no power behind that last bit. Obviously you wouldn't do that towards anyone's face or anything like that, but if I was coming in for a killing blow, you know, obviously you make it look more impressive than that, but really put welly behind it, but don't welly in really hard in the side. Just kind of come in and finish it in the wrist. On a camera, even though you're not making contact, it will look like you are. So just get as close as you can. You know, maybe touch slightly like that, but no more.
Small touch is just isn't going to hurt. You know, you're really going to get in bruises and things like that.
We want it to look good, but at the same time, we don't want people
to
be in pain with it. We don't want people going in with bruises or cuts or anything.
And if you actually touch, you know what to react to.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It is handy sometimes to have a little tap, just so you know
I've
the
done
point.
fist fight choreography once, and we had a guy that loved going in like that, but when you went down to react to it, he would stop about there off your back. So you can't react because there's no touch.
Having said that, if you're going anywhere near the face or anything like that, don't be doing that then. But it's just a case of using your head really, of what you can get away with and what you can't. Because a lot of stage combat, if you've got when the camera's looking at it, you don't actually need to make contact at all. You know, so if we're going for a headshot, say, that is as close as you need to get if the camera's over there, and it will look real. You know, same with thrusts and things. But we'll get more into those sort of details.
Just one point on the swords. The flat of the blade. Never hit anyone with the flat. Always go for the edge. If you, particularly with sword fighting, if you're defending like that, there's every likelihood the blade will snap. Particularly on some of the less quality blades, they will snap. So always make sure you connect edge to edge, never on the flat of the blade. With people, you can go for the flat of the blade a little bit, but we're going for a film like anyway, so this needs to look good. So it's going to always have to be edge. In reenactment, you can hit them with the flat of the blade just to prevent it. We want that edge because it needs to look good. Because the last thing you want is for some film critic to go through the films as they do and say, edge of the blade needs cutting. You know.
I believe a few people were talking about getting their own swords as well. A few things to look out for. These aren't the standard steel sword that you would buy in most shops. The difference being most of the swords that you would buy are stainless steel, so they're made for display purposes and they're made to look nice for a long period of time. But when it comes to fighting with them, they will splinter. Splinter or shatter or just break. So you'll end up with little bits of metal flying around everywhere. You know, not a good idea. So what you need is ideally sprung steel. Sometimes carbon steel is okay, but EN45 sprung steel normally. And the fact that the tang, the blade itself, when it goes into the handle, carries all the way up, whereas a display sword is usually welded. So what you'll find is as soon as they clash, you've got a blade flying through the air. So we always make sure that it's for combat and that it's sprung steel and it's got a fall-through tang, which means it goes all the way up.
If you do fancy buying something, just come to somebody, because we know plenty of places where you can
Yeah, I mean chances are we can find what you're looking for cheaper than anywhere else, but you know, so feel free to get in touch.
But just bear in mind, if you are doing it, you're looking at spending at least £80–90 minimum.
At least, yeah.
And what I'd say is if you're buying something with the film in mind, I'd suggest contacting Chris or Dave first. If you find something you think looks gorgeous online that you really want, then send them a link and say, look guys, what do you think of this?
Yeah, I mean I'm usually pretty much tied to Facebook all the time. I've got it on my phone, so unless I'm riding my bike, you'll get through to me pretty quickly.
If you're unsure on how to fit in Beauty PM, just post it on the Mordred campaign.
Yeah, that's it.
Post it up there, then everyone can look at it and go, oh, pretty, but...
Yeah, exactly.
You've got a dagger here as well for throat cutting. I don't know how many of you are getting your throats cut.
There's definitely one.
Yeah, but
I get to use dagger.
I'll pass this around so you can see how safe it is. It is steel, but it's got a very...
There is a trick. You know that? Throat cutting trick.
Oh no, don't want that. Yeah, I know the hair pulling trick.
Yeah. You want to come down a little bit.
How low do I need to go?
And you bring them around like that. Obviously, if it's on camera directly, there'll be a way of doing it so you can see it physically. But if it's slightly away and you want to do this sort of thing, you can just do it like this. Because from behind or to the side, you can't really see what's going on, and you just do it across your hand. And if you do it right, it can look quite good. It's something we use to finish people off on the field, reenacting.
This
is
is
fun to the audience.
This is pretty safe.
But it means the blade itself is never dragged across the neck.
Yeah.
So the last thing you want to do is miss a burr, suddenly you slice someone's veins.
Yeah, I would
do it
say
across the hand.
with that dagger, don't use that in combat. Because
For the Morgan scene then, the sacrifice, would it be more for me?
yeah, I mean whoever.
Yeah.
Nathan gets his throat cut.
Yeah.
We want to have something specific for that, and I don't know how you're doing the...
I mean I've got this one as well. But,
Yeah.
I found a baby.
Oh!
So what I would say is don't use that in any form of combat where it can get a little nick in it, because as far as we're concerned, we're using that for throat slitting. We might not think to check that.
Yeah.
You know, that is its only.
Right,
yeah, that's its only use. We don't want it being used against the sword, getting a sharp edge, and then. We should check everything, but just in case it's missed.
I think that more or less covers everything fight-wise that we needed to go through, safety. It's just a matter of getting people through there, just get people training.
Anyone got any questions?
I've got one. when you're going for the shield with a said weapon and you're striking it down, would it be better to kind of picture the shield as a clock? So like 5 o'clock, 11 o'clock, you know, that kind of thing, because I think that would be easier for me.
If it works for you, then
absolutely.
just do it like that.
Yeah, that's good for accuracy. Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
But yeah, we tend to do that actually, don't we?
Yeah.
Think.
1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
23 minutes past 2.
Flippin' heck.
Oh, 7 o'clock, pub's open. Brilliant.
Is Is anybody worried about doing this?
No.
Fools. No, if it's done properly, there's no problem at all. Right. So who wants to go first then?
I will say before we start that for those that might be wearing stuff, there is some heavy suits of armour on the table here.
Okay. Like I said before,
Yes.
don't concentrate on looking at your spear point. Yeah, try and look at your opponent and just see the spear point out the corner of your eye.
Okay.
Because when you get into doing the proper fighting, you're not going to see what's coming at you. And that's a lot to take in.
That's why I've been filming it, so we can also YouTube it for everyone.
I'd love to spend more time, but I think we're going to have to keep moving through. And
You always want to wet the shield, but
it's surprising when in the left arm it gets very heavy after a while.
Shall I have a go?
Yeah.
Yep. Another somebody else coming in. I want everyone to have a go.